Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've been out on the water. I think actually I'm thinking about it, and the last time I was on the water was December when I did my winter paddling tips. So it's been way too long. I'm so glad to be back on the water. And recently I got a request to do an update on my kneeling drops. So that's our purpose today. I'm going to talk about the kneeling drops, what I think about them now that I've been using them, I think for about 8 months or so. Yeah, listen to me, 8 months. I haven't been out in 6 months, but I have used them since I made that first video several times. And so this is kind of like second impressions or an update on the original video. Hi, my name is Cliff Fawcett. This channel is all about encouraging you to get out there and have some fun on the water. I do how-to videos, quick tip videos, and some bite-sized adventures where you can sit back and imagine you're on the water with me. If you're not familiar with kneeling drops, I'm going to link the video down below installing them, and then I'll also link my first impressions video. Basically, the idea is that with the normal seating position in the Northwind Solo, the seat is too low for me to get my size 12s underneath of it. And so the kneeling drops lift the seat up a little bit, and it also puts the seat inclined at a little bit of an angle forward so that when you're kneeling, you can rest your bum on the seat. And it allows for kneeling, which does several things. One is I feel like it gives me more control of my boat. I got my shins kind of against the bottom of the boat, and it helps me to kind of move it a little bit. Also puts my center of gravity a little bit lower, and also it gives me a little bit of a break from sitting. So when I'm kneeling, it feels a lot better on my back and on my hips. But then after a while, that starts to bother my knees and my ankles. And so I like to have the ability to switch, and the kneeling drops allow that. I can switch back and forth from kneeling to sitting, kneeling to sitting. Now, the drawback is that since the seat is a little higher, when I'm sitting, it's a little more tippy because my center of gravity is a little bit higher. But it's really worth the compromise. I really think that it's worth it. I like being able to change my position and to be able to have more control. So if you're considering the Northwind Solo, I absolutely love this boat. It's lightweight, it's strong, and it's beautiful. I never had a solo canoe before, so this is my first one. And I don't have a lot of experience with solos, but what I can tell you is that the weight is the biggest advantage for me. One of the things that kind of keeps me from getting out and paddling is the thought of having to lift the canoe or the kayak up on top of my car. And with this canoe, it's light. I'll put it in the comments. I think it's 28 pounds. I don't know, something like that. It's really light. I got the wood trim because it's beautiful, but that only adds a couple of pounds, and it's definitely worth the beauty, I think. But otherwise, this is the black light, they call it. It's a mix of aramid and carbon fiber. And so it's light and strong and not cheap. You know what they say, light, strong, or inexpensive, pick two. You can get strong and cheap, and you can get strong and light, but it ain't cheap. So I love the Northwind Solo. It's a great boat, tracks nice and straight. It's good kind of all around. I'm sure there's boats that are single purpose. This to me is an all-arounder, and I like that all-around business. So, ooh, there's a beaver. Look at that. You don't see that every day. Probably can't see it on the camera. If I can get my camera out and video him. Of course, I get the camera out right as he's gone. Oh, there he is. There's the fella. So I'm using the kneeling position now. I don't know if you can see very well, but I am kneeling. But I'm also sitting on the seat, so I can kind of extend out like this, or I can kind of sit back and lean on the seat. And this gives my back and my hips a break. I like this position. I feel like I'm more on top of the paddle. I got cushions under my knees. I'm using these, they're Dick's Sporting Goods, like little cushions that you use in a stadium. And they definitely make it more comfortable on my knees and shins. I think the first time I went out, I just went on the bare bottom of the boat, and that, no good. Maybe if you're 20. I like this position. I think it's a lot more comfortable. Comfortable for a change, right? It's nice for a change. But it's also nice to be able to sit, and that's why I like these kneeling drops, because I can switch back and forth from kneeling to sitting. In my first video, I made quite an ordeal out of going from one to the other, and I guess part of it was new to me and I thought I was going to tip or whatever, but it's really not that hard. I've learned how to do it, so really all you need to do is I can just bring this foot out and then just bring the other one out. Now I'm sitting. So that wasn't too hard. And then to switch back, just do the opposite. So bring this foot underneath, and then I just, lean forward and do that. And I'm back in the kneeling position. Not as difficult switching back and forth. I feel like this view shows the kneeling pretty well. You can see that I'm resting on my butt, but I can also raise up and lower down. And I just feel like I have more control over the boat. You'll have to talk to a canoeing expert about why kneeling is better. I know it's a thing that most of the guys that I know that are really good at canoeing, they spend most of their time kneeling. And I think part of that is because they're doing whitewater canoeing. But also I just think it's a better position. So I'm just learning, and someday I'll be an expert, but that day is not today. Anyway, I'm just enjoying a beautiful day out here in nature. Just loving it. Gorgeous day. Birds are singing. Everything's blooming. It's green and lush. Gorgeous day. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click like. And if you want to see more videos like this, click subscribe. And come be my paddling buddy.